.350 this year. It has some impressive wins already, just about a month into the season, against teams like Clemson and Utah. More on that as this game unfolds. So away we go on a bright, sunny Sunday afternoon in Oxford. Temperature right at 60 degrees. In a finale that's very important for both of these teams. Mississippi State certainly looking to make a statement to begin conference play. This is the junior Sierra Sacco. Gets the start in center field once again today. Sacco has been a wonderful table setter. Very patient hitter. When she hits on base, she can move. 1 for 8 in the series thus far.
True triple threat. A mainstay for this order. Coach Ricketts went on and on about the confidence in this bat, the leader that she is at the top of the order. Just a competitive young woman.
Here's a 1-2 from Clee Thermos. That one misses just wide. And so the count evens. By the way, the home plate umpire is Tom Meyer over at first. Brian Crochet and then Matt Dial is at third base today. Count goes full to Sacco. Yeah, Aaron Clee Thermos making her second start in the circle this series. So she started the opener, but only faced 11 batters, didn't make it out of the second inning. Payoff, and Sacco slashes that one away.
Sacco had one of those hits in game 1 of this series. You're already seeing low 70s out of the hands of Clee Thermos, so pumping some heat here early.
One of many reliable arms at Jamie Traxel's arsenal. She relies on a steady array of dependable pitchers. And she calls Clee Thermos a catalyst.
It's interesting on paper, you compare these two teams. There's a lot of similarities in numbers, but their pitching staffs have completely different styles, completely different approaches.
That one's high, and so Sacco draws another walk. She's done a fine job of working counts this year, and so Sacco draws her 20th walk of the season.
You see an Ole Miss staff that really focuses on movement, focuses on spotting the ball, setting themselves up for pitch location. And then on the other side of this diamond, Mississippi State, led by Taryn Mowat McKinney. First season here at Mississippi State, the pitching coach now. They have focused entirely on the addition of the off-speed, trying to switch up timing. It's an interesting approach, very different approaches by these staffs, but both well led. Both have seen a lot of success this year.
So Clee Thermos battles Nadia Barbary next. And so the count goes full. So Barbary takes another moment. By the way, you've got the music playing from the baseball field next door.
I think that's maybe what the discussion was about there. It's loud. It feels like it's in the field.
Got a little first inning Sweet Caroline.
I know.
0-2 from Clee Thermos. Bounced over to first. They try to turn two. Throw back to the bag is just late. So Sacco is retired at second base.
Yeah, this is a good decision. I think that Smith knew if she could 180 this throw successfully to Starr, they'd at least get the lead runner there. Great attempt. This is heads-up defense.
Yeah, Smith able to make the play. And well, if there's one thing that is a constant for Jamie Traxel coach teams, that is elite defense, of course, is the expectation. So in the 3-hole, this is Paige Cook, another veteran in the lineup for Mississippi State. Yeah, this is, always an impressive hitting team, if you will, under Samantha Ricketts. She's got a variety of older, experienced vets and then a few very talented freshmen in this batting order. Catches the outside corner for a strike.
Well, Cook is one of those that is elite with runners on, a 353 hitter with ducks on the pond.
Yeah. Well, she has worn that uniform with a great deal of pride. Fifth-year senior, final year at the program. This is her 204th career game. Bounces that one up the middle, and there's a base hit for the 3-hole hitter.
Yeah, she's good all the time, but especially good in a pressure situation. Runners on the base paths. Cook just sends this one right back up the middle. I appreciate the swing here. She knows it doesn't need to be big. Short barrel to the ball, works the ground. It's high IQ hitting.
Yeah, and Mississippi State, Aaron, has been opportunistic early in both of the first 2 games of this series. So the table is set for the cleanup hitter. That's Jessie Blaine. And the junior takes that one. So here are these Bulldogs that have scored a first-inning run on both Friday and Saturday. They were up 3-0 after 2 innings in the opener. They were up 2-0 after 2 yesterday. That's in the air, out to right. Jamie McKay has it lined up, and so 2 gone for the Rebels. So that brings up Madison Kennedy, the first baseman for State. She'll try to bring home a first-inning run. Thermos ready to deal. Swing, and that one's cut back to the screen.
This is a team that hits a lot of balls in the air. They're known for sending the ball into aerospace, and Kennedy is no exception. 76% of the time with runners on base, she's sending the ball in the air. The numbers don't lie. This team likes to elevate the ball.
Well, and she went yard in the 4th inning yesterday, so Kennedy is someone who can make some noise and change the complexion of a game very quickly. And it was an impressive at-bat in that 4th inning yesterday. She waits on the 1-1. This one sit up into the air, third base side. And no play there for Rummel. So, Aaron, yesterday, she goes yard on a 3-2 pitch. It was the 10th pitch of the at-bat after 5 straight foul balls.
Yeah.
Talk about earning.
Much more impressive when you put it in perspective like that of what the battle was, right? What the context of that swing was.
1-2, she drills this one back near the wall. Gone! It's a first-inning blast today for Madison Kennedy. And Mississippi State out in front in the opening inning for a 3rd straight day.
This is the swing we're talking about. Up, it's an elevated pitch. You cannot miss in that part of the strike zone against a team like this and a bat like this. Madison Kennedy showed it yesterday. She flashes the power again today, and we heard it from Coach Ricketts in day 2. When this team strikes first, they are unstoppable, and they've already now got a 3-0 lead here in the top of the 1st inning.
6th home run of the year for Kennedy. That's a team best. She's now got 20 RBIs, and so it brings up one of the rookies that have performed so well in the early goings of the season. This is Kylie Edwards. Freshman is over at shortstop this year. And that's something that has become a reputation, part of the identity of this Mississippi State program under Ricketts, is they can score now. Kennedy today.
You're going to see her low in the zone. This is a pitcher that uses the defense. She's a vocal leader. It's like having a fifth infielder on the dirt. She can field her position well. Just the glue of this staff. I'm not shocked that she's getting the ball here in the final game of this series.
Yeah, they went with two of their stars in Wesley and Marin the first 2 games of the series. Fa'apito, very reliable. There's Jamie Traxel's lineup card. Jada Pone at the top of the order for a second straight game, followed by Jayla Lassiter and the veteran Paige Smith. So that's the top third of the batting order today for Ole Miss. And perhaps, you know, a bit of a wounded team trying to bounce back from getting no hit yesterday. They drew 3 walks as a team against Aspen Wesley. But in the series now, just 3 for 42 against Mississippi State pitching. That's how overwhelming the Bulldogs have been. Pone fouls that pitch off from Fa'apito.
These are high-impact leadoff hitters for both of these teams. Jaden Pone, another leader for this group. Chalk line to chalk line power. Coach Traxel said this kid has no idea how talented that she is.
Yeah, she
quietly does her thing.
And yeah, Aaron, she has been a wonderful addition. Transferred in from Longwood, where she won the Big South Player of the Year award. And she has got the highest batting average on the team, a little more than 20 games through, hitting .393 this year. 2-2 pitch to Pone. It's just above the letters, so the count goes full from Fa'apito.
Notice that pitch, even high, still bites down right before it's gloved by Wachowski behind the plate.
That's on the inside edge. Great spot, and Pone goes down looking.
This is what makes her so dangerous. Fa'apito can really hammer and tunnel the zone, but it's all got downspin. So trying to eye, where is this ball actually going to hit the strike zone? It is so difficult for Ole Miss to determine if this is going to be low and out or up and under the hands. You saw Pone struggle with both of those last 2 locations.
So Jayla Lassiter faces her next. Sophomore from Alabama. Waits on the 0-1 from Fa'apito. That one runs in tight. And while she doesn't lead the team in strikeouts, she does have the highest strikeout rate, Aaron. She's only logged 14 in the 3rd innings, but you've got 18 strikeouts to just 3 walks in the limited work to start the year. 2-0 is bashed up the middle. Beautiful base hit for Lassiter with 1 gone in the home first.
Yeah, this is just knowing what you're going to see out of the hand of Fa'apito. Lassiter sees 2 pitches, strikes on that second pitch, and against right-handed hitters, just even looking at the heat map of 6-4-3 charts and what these arms do, she stays arm side dominant. She's going to challenge the inner corner against righties. You'll see her get up under the hands.
Faces another one here in Paige Smith. Veteran leader of this team, 5th-year senior. Boy, that hit's got to feel really good. Again, Ole Miss, no hit yesterday, and the 4-0 loss. 1-0 is ripped down the line, foul. So Mississippi State scored its 3 with 2 outs in the top half of the first. Ole Miss trying to counter in a series that the visitors have taken the first 2. So Mississippi State trying to sweep Ole Miss again like it did 2 years ago. 2-1. Smith clips that one foul. Smith, the California native, she's always had some pop in the bat. Now a 5-year starter. Two misses just away.
Already the second time we've seen a full count for Fa'apito.
And she misses outside, so there's now 2 runners on for Ole Miss after the walk. Jamie Traxel, Eric, she took this program over a few years ago and has picked up just right where the prior regime left off, if you will, has guided this program to the NCAA tournament all 3 years.
She had the 6th toughest schedule last season. This is a coach that is not scared of competition, understands the importance of scheduling tough matchups early in the year. I kept wanting to ask her just about the continued and consistent success, and she did not want to go there. She's like, look, I'm proud of where we've been and what we've done, but it's about the future.
Yeah.
We keep knocking on the door. We've got an exciting
upgrading this facility, so you know it'll be a little clunky this year. They've had to practice off-site for much of the year, which is a great challenge, and they have had to deal with that. Here comes a 1-2 to Lexi Brady. That one misses away. By the way, we just saw our first look at the new pitching coach for Mississippi State. Taryn Mowat McKinney was out there to speak with Fa'apito. Brady attacks that one and slashes it foul, so we'll do it again.
Ole Miss actually having to practice at Oxford High School, having to bus over to the teams, and it's been a challenge for this staff and this squad, hauling equipment, all of their personal belongings, just trying to stay the course through this construction.
Brady tried to check the swing, and she did go. So 2 gone in the first.
Let's get a side look at this. If the barrel breaks over the plane of home plate, it's a strike, and I think that's the right call. It looks like the barrel does break the plane.
Yeah, and so now a pair of strikeouts for Fa'apito in this first inning. Fa'apito, she spent her first couple of years at New Mexico State. This is her 3rd year with the Bulldogs. And she's got Jamie McKay to deal with to try to get out of the first and maybe strand a couple of runners. Lassiter singled. She's over at second. Paige Smith drew a walk. And McKay now has a favorable 3-ball, no strike count with 2 gone in the first. For Fa'apito, it's now 20 strikeouts in 15 innings. Got to come back now from a 3-0 count. Misses away, and so now the bases are full, and Ansley Furbush is coming up.
It's this careful balance of base hits, free bags, and then the strikeouts for Fa'apito. Already 2 walks and 2 Ks in the first inning. She's given up a base hit. For right now, Ole Miss just trying to take advantage of what's been given. You look over the past 2 games for Ole Miss, they've left 7 runners on between both matchups.
I've got them loaded here in the first. 1-0 to Furbush, misses away. So that's 6 in a row out of the zone from Fa'apito, who last threw 9 days ago. That was on March 1st against Troy, went 2 innings in that win. Swings inside, so 3 balls, no strikes. And this is a very capable and dangerous hitter at the plate in Furbush. 2-way player, 68 appearances in the circle in her career, plus nearly 300 at-bats. Oh, missed outside, and so Ole Miss responds with a first inning run. It's a 3-walk first inning for the Rebels.
At the plate for the Rebels, the third baseman, Delaney Rummel.
And that's got to be quite encouraging and a bit of momentum here if you're Ole Miss after being no hit yesterday, a first inning hit and run. Delaney Rummel, first pitch swinging over to short. Edwards couldn't handle it, and another run comes home.
So uncharacteristic for Edwards at shortstop. This is one of the best shortstops in our game. She outright earns this position this year. We've seen some defensive shifts from Mississippi State because of the talent of Edwards at shortstop.
Actually missing to McKay and Furbush there. So the bases remain full with Angelina De Leon, the junior second baseman, in the box. You nailed it, though. Edwards has been so reliable at short. So the run is unearned. It's an error. You know, do you give any credence to, sometimes you hear that reference that, you know, you have a base runner perhaps in your peripheral vision coming from one direction, softball rolling towards you. Can that factor into the mistake there?
I think there's a lot of things that you could earmark that mistake with, but regardless, the play's got to get made, right?
Yep.
That gets you out of an inning. The bases are loaded. You now only have a 1-run lead. That is a can of corn play that has to be made.
De Leon rips the 2-1 foul, so now the count evens. This will be the 35th pitch of the inning for Fa'apito. Again, the 3 first inning walks have inflated that count. 2-2. And missing away once again to the right-hander.
Keeping in mind, Kylie Edwards at shortstop, a freshman phenom, she beats out Kennedy. Kennedy was the starting shortstop last year. She's now playing first base. The freshman outright wins that position.
Swing and a miss on the payoff. And so Fa'apito, hey, we're here to prove some folks wrong, if you will. They were left out of the tournament field last year, and they have gotten off to a thriving start. 19-3 record. They've beaten some prominent programs in Clemson and Utah. And they're rolling here, taking the first 2 games of this SEC opening play series.
Last year stung for them. I know it did, because just the previous year they make history. They host their first ever Super Regional against Arizona. Kind of an odd journey there now. Taryn Mowat-McKinney on staff with them as the associate head. She then was on staff with Arizona as the pitching coach.
This is Ella Wesolowski, flies out to McKay, 1 gone.
Second baseman, Celine Hawkins.
Well, they've got the formula. It's been a special one thus far. You open up the year with a pair of wins against that terrific Louisiana program. Then you beat Clemson, a top 10 team, a few days later. Utah the same day. And played Oklahoma fairly close, I suppose you could say. There's the rookie Salin Hawkins, second baseman, hitting .375 this year. In the driver's seat with the 2-ball, no-strike count. McKenna Cleethurvis, remember, allowed the 3-run home run to Kennedy in the first inning. Hawkins has had a sensational start to the year. Puts the ball into play. He's driven in 17 runs this year as well, including 4 in the first 2 games of the series.
A late add to this roster as well. Month before school started was when Coach Sam Ricketts signed her. Last minute add to the team.
3-0 down the middle.
Through a mutual network, that was brought on her radar that she was still available, and Coach could not believe that this athlete was still on the market. Has adapted well at second base, a high IQ on the field.
As he draws the 1-out walk. Yeah, that's quality scouting. And Coach Ricketts was telling you that they were trying to find a second baseman in the portal and then realized that this unsigned outgoing senior was still available, and Hawkins was waiting for an opportunity like this. Had some offers, was looking for maybe that high major offer. This is Briley St. Clair, number 9 hitter in the order. But she has really held her own indeed. And so now you have the 5th-year senior at the bottom of the order from Sandrock, Alabama. No one misses away.
This has been a tight zone. I'm going to be honest. This has been a very tight zone. I think both of these arms, Cleethurvis and Fa'apito, just trying to settle in, figure out where their lane is, what they can get away with.
Well, just about once through the order, Mississippi State has drawn a couple of walks against Cleethurvis. And then remember, Ole Miss nearly batted around in the home first. They drew 3 walks, scored a couple of runs. And so Lexi Brady with a quick visit to the circle to speak with Cleethurvis.
It's the third 3-ball count for Cleethurvis, just digging herself into a hole. It's hard to pitch your pitch without the setup. And in a 3-0 count, now the third 3-ball count that she's had, it's hard to pitch from behind. It's hard to throw what you want to throw.
There's one thing that Jamie Traxel bemoaned the other day, that the walk rate is a bit high for this staff. And that's low. So back-to-back free passes. Mississippi State with 2 on and 1 out in the second, already holding a 3-2 lead in the finale.
It's such an energy suck, too, for defense. You can see already.
And for Cleethurvis, she is a very experienced arm. She spent the 3 years at Oregon to start her career. Her rookie season was, of course, the COVID-canceled 2020 year. So utilizing that extra year of eligibility to finish out her college career at Ole Miss. So let's go back to the top of the order. This is Sierra Sacco, who also drew a walk in the first.
4 out of 10 batters that she's faced have seen first pitch strikes. Talk about
0-1 down and away.
Game within the game. That was always used back in my career, is how can we really piece this down into bite-sized chunks? Let's get small wins here. And for Cleethurvis, I would say it's that first pitch strike. Attack the strike zone early.
Just off the outer edge. Another close one, but it favors Sacco. Played Thermos last year in her first season with the Rebels, 78 innings, 5 wins, 5 losses, appeared in 27 games. Now the count goes 3 balls and a strike.
Splitting hairs in the river. I mean, these are close misses. These are really good pitches that are not falling into the strike zone. And it's forcing Clee Thermos to come over the wide of the plate. And against a team like Mississippi State, you place it too sweet, you're going to see the ball leave the yard. We've already seen it once with Madison Kennedy. That's a full count here for Sacco. Second full count. First was a walk for Clee Thermos. Just misses outside. And this is the location right here for Clee Thermos. It's just barely missing outside of the river, right at the knees. It's a beautiful location, a pitcher's pitch that have not been falling in favor of this arm. And a bases loaded situation here for Mississippi State.
Yeah, so to your point, these are very close pitches. However, we've got a second visit here from Carl Golan. And so there will be a change for the Rebels. So Mississippi State chases Clee Thermos in the second, once again this series.
In pace of play here with this arm.
Well, she faces the heart of the order here with 1 out. Nadia Barbary bounces the first pitch over to short. Starr retires St. Clair in third, but the run scores, and Hawkins makes it a 4-2 lead for the visitors.
Exactly what she does. She hammers the strike zone, forces the defense to make a play for her. Fielder's choice there at third. St. Clair is out.
And Riley was really effective yesterday. She finds the outside edge against the number 3 hitter, Paige Cook. So she went 3 2/3 innings, and only 2 batters she faced reached. Gave up 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 3. And the 0-1 is a bit low to Cook. And that can obviously be effective, Aaron, just messing with a hitter's timing, if you will. Different approach coming at you. Riley is a battle-tested right-hander. Was integral in last year's run to the NCAA tournament. 2-1 is slash foul, so she's a strike away from getting out of this. This is her 3rd time in the circle this week. Picked up the win and the victory at Memphis on Tuesday. And is in the circle for a 2nd straight day facing this state team. That's foul.
It's still early in this ball game, but both of these teams, offensively and within the pitching circle, are going to have to get used to this zone. If I'm Mississippi State, I'm getting picky. I'm going to make sure this ball is down Broadway, something that I can hit a double with.
That's away. Good eye from Cook, and so she works the count full.
If you're Riley coming into this game for the first time, if you're paying attention to what's already developed, you know the type of zone that you're stepping into. You know it's tight.
Reaches at the 3-2, bounces it over to De Leon, and the inning is over. The final two games in this series right here on the network. Tomorrow's matchup, the first pitch at 7 Eastern. Ole Miss, Aaron, the only SEC team that's outside of the top 25. And exciting that, conference play back.
That's just wild to me. And the fact that two of those teams are headed to the SEC, Oklahoma and Texas headed that way.
Not just two, 1 and 2 in the rankings. So the 1-1 is a bit tight from Matalasi Fa'apito. She faces Ryan Starr in the back to the top of the order here for Ole Miss in the second. Mississippi State added a run at the top half of the frame. LSU also remains unbeaten with its victory earlier today as well. There's an easy 4-3 putout. Hawkins retires Starr, 1 gone. LSU with the 8-3 win over Kentucky earlier today. It's eye-popping, really. You just do some quick math. And basically half the top 25 coming from one league. This is Jaden Poen. First pitch swinging and a base hit for the junior right up the box.
One pitch, one swing. It's about as aggressive as it gets. She struck out her first at bat back in the first inning.
Poen's been a wonderful addition. Again, she hit .412 in 2 years at Longwood. And so it seems like the ability is clearly translating after the level up. Lassiter, just a brilliant defensive center fielder, hitting .377 this year. She singled and scored a run in the first inning for Ole Miss. Lassiter lines that one into right, and it's back-to-back singles now for the Rebels. So a bit of life in the early innings today, Aaron. Great sign.
Well, for Fa'apito, this is a pitch that leaks back over the strike zone. It's a screwball, hung too sweet. And on the outer half, Smith able to hit that ball, Lassiter able to hit that ball where it's pitched. One hops in front of Cook.
And so Paige Smith does step into the box now. She walked earlier today. That's fouled away. So just the second inning, but the Rebels have had a number of opportunities with runners in scoring position. They are 0 for 3. One run came home in the first on a bases loaded walk. The other run scored on an error. Smith bounces that one over to Edwards, cuts down the lead runner at third, and so now there's 2 gone. And so Fa'apito trying to strand a few on the base paths again with Lexi Brady coming up.
I left 3 on base in the first inning. I mentioned over the last 2 games, 7 total left on base for the Rebels. It's interesting. I used to look at these numbers even back when I would play and think, oh man, the more left on base, the more work we've got to do as an offense.
Yep.
But you know, this season in calling games, I can't remember which coach it was. It might have been Colorado State. And she said, you know, I look at that number at times and think, hey, we put ourselves in opportunities to score. What if that number's 0? What if you never give yourself an opportunity with runners in scoring position? I think that really is what I see with Ole Miss, because for Mississippi State, they've left 15 on between these last 2 games.
And the perception changes, of course, when you're victorious in the first 2. Yeah, that runner's in scoring position number almost acts as a taboo figure, if you will.
Pick a side of the coin, right? You
Yeah.
want to look at it from a negative way? Do you want to look at it through a positive lens?
Well, Pizzo now.
Offense, a big swinger, not afraid to step in and take a hack, dig the heels in.
This is her first go around against Caitlin Riley, again, who faced 2 hitters and got out of the jam in the second. But Blaine was a player Coach Ricketts really beamed about when she was speaking to you a couple of days ago. And she has been such a terrific hitter to start this year. Postseason experience the last couple years at Auburn, but she really lauded her just strong mental makeup, if you will. The daughter of a Marine. Bounces the 1-1 over to second base. That's brilliant backhanded stab by De Leon, but she pulls Smith off the bag. And so Blaine is aboard.
You got to love the effort. Although the out wasn't there, giving yourself a shot, giving your defense a shot. Looks like the throw just wide, taking Smith off first base. Well struck by Blaine up the middle of the field.
Oh, they're going to take a look to see if it pulled her off the bag. That was a really clean transfer from glove to bare hand. And again, the only undoing was just the wide throw. Did she hold the bag? There's an argument to be made, perhaps. I guess that's why we saw the challenge request, of course.
I think this foot's off the bag here. And keep in mind, the call on the field is safe. There's got to be enough evidence seen to overturn the call on the field, which is safe at first. I don't know that there's enough evidence there to overturn the call.
The throw clearly beats her, and it's just a matter of, is that right cleat got enough of the base? Can't really deduce much from that.
Doing their best to see what is on this replay footage.
Here's that stop again, by the way, from De Leon. That's Brian Crochet, the first base umpire, who, again, ruled it safe originally. So, that's always the rub, if you will, when you go to the replay monitor. Do you have a clean enough angle to try to overturn something? So leadoff runner on, and the dangerous Madison Kennedy back on the right side of the plate. Kennedy blasted one over the left field wall back in the first inning. And then she lifts this one out to center. It's got some flight. Goodbye! It's a 2-homer day and a 3-homer series for Madison Kennedy. 5-2, Mississippi State.
You start to wonder why she's even seeing pitches, even close to the strike zone. This one outside, breaking away from Madison Kennedy. She hits it exactly where it's thrown, the deepest part of the field, 230 at least, dead center. Man, it's got to look like a beach ball to her right now.
Again, now 7 home runs to lead the team. 2 at-bats, 2 homers, and 5 RBIs. And again, a 6-2 lead for the visitors. They've taken the first 2 of this series trying to open up conference play with a statement in Oxford. This is Kylie Edwards. Takes the 1-0 on the outside corner for a strike. You know, with the stadium renovations ongoing here in Oxford, it has left a limited fan section, if you will, and Kennedy found that section by taking Riley deep over the center field wall. Edwards has gone 5-3, so that's the first out here in the third.
Bulldog catcher, Ella Wesolowski.
But it's a souvenir from the wrong team. First pitch swinging, Ella Wesolowski bounces it right back to Riley, so 2 quick outs. And Saylin Hawkins is coming up.
This is the challenge of having an umpire behind the plate that's got a tighter zone. I think for Riley, trying to figure out where she can go. Where is her pitcher's pitch? Where can she really nibble at the corners, if at all, against a team that swings like Mississippi State does?
Yeah, and we're not even 2.5 innings through. There's been 14 base runners in this game. So there's been a lot of balls put into play, plenty of walks as well. Saylin Hawkins on the right side once again. She drew the free pass in the second. So we're almost twice through the order for Mississippi State. And outside of the walks, everybody has put the ball into play. They have not gone down on strikes yet. No hitter has. So the 2-0 is in there for a called first strike. Riley's the junior from Dandridge, Tennessee. 3rd year of the program. 2-1 is hit hard over to Smith. Takes it to the bag herself. And we're done with 2.5. Hey, big picture, if you will, before this one, an important series finale. Yeah. What was the message to the team heading into this game?
Every game matters, you know. You can't feel sorry for yourselves, you know. Like Mississippi State has probably earned the first 2 wins, and good teams win on Sunday and find different ways to win. We got to be relentless in our pursuit, got to have a lot of fight. Obviously, we're in a dogfight right now, so the mentality and the message was the same approach and what we need during the game here.
Coach, both of your arms that we've seen in the circle trying to establish those corners, it's been kind of a tight zone. How do your arms battle against something like that?
Well, you have to have good emotional control and just make sure you keep throwing good pitches. You know, you can't succumb to anything. It's been both ways, too. They've given us some free passes, too. So you just got to keep throwing good pitches and really make sure you're living on the edges. And if anything, like maybe just stretch it up and down in the zone versus just straight down the middle. But it's been both ways, both sides. We just got to capitalize offensively and get ourselves back in here. And defense got to do their job, but try to clean up some of the free passes.
Oh, and your team is at the plate here in the home third. So, hey, Coach, we appreciate you doing this. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys.
It's a 6-2 lead now, Aaron, for Mississippi State as it is in search of another sweep against this Ole Miss team. They did not play one another last year, so you got to go back to 2022 when Mississippi State swept the Rebels that year. And so we've been talking about that tight zone today. And Coach Traxel mentioned it when you have circumstances like that, the emotional control. I like how she said it there, very important.
Oh, yeah. Control what you can control, right?
This is Jamie McKay leading it off for Ole Miss in the third. It's 5, 6, and 7 in the order against Pito, who was struck out 4. You know, in a game like this, tight zone, pitchers, hitters, you have to adjust. You've certainly found yourself in years past, you know, in a game like that, is it a conversation that's ongoing in the dugout about what you're seeing as a hitter, passing it along to other teammates?
Elite offenses are constantly communicating, right? Between pitches, between hitters, between innings. It evolves throughout 7 innings, and you know, depending on the arms that you're seeing, it can change a game plan. You may have a game plan coming into a game, but based on what an umpire is calling, what he's giving that arm, things can change immediately. And to me, it really boils down to an offense that can adjust, that can make changes on the fly, that can answer the call based on what's right in front of them. I think that both of these teams know how to do that well. Becomes all that more important the deeper you get into conference play, the closer you start to get to postseason opportunities.
And we have officially started that marathon to Made Madness with the SEC beginning conference play this weekend. This Mississippi State team, it does continue to roll. On the verge of its 20th win. So here we go, 8th pitch of the at-bat here. It's been a nice battle between Pito and McKay. Swings and hammers that one. That's fair down the line. McKay on the move to second and slides in safe. There's a leadoff double for Ole Miss. Its first extra base hit of the day.
This is exactly the type of momentum starter. This is the spark that Ole Miss is looking for. First leadoff on, finds herself in scoring position. McKay laces a double down the third base line.
And so now it's Ansley Furbush, one of the dangerous bats in the order, with no one out. Quick throw down to second that chases McKay back.
Furbush
so for
leading the
McKay,
team.
it's her 5th double of the year. Go ahead, Aaron.
533 with runners in scoring position for Furbush. This is who you want at the plate with an opportunity to score. She leads the team in situations like this. Doesn't waver under pressure. She loves when the pressure is on. And she's just kind of got that hero essence about her. The bat gets hotter when the stakes get higher.
One is popped up, lifted over to the right side of the field. That's out of play. So now she has to protect with 2 strikes. Furbush walked with the bases loaded in the first inning. That brought in a run. Trying to put something into play. Pito misses outside, so the count evens. Four hits now for Ole Miss as a team today. An important number after getting no hit yesterday. 2-2, that one's lifted out to left near the track. St. Clair makes the catch. McKay stays put at second. And that one went just about as far as it could go without leaving the yard. One gone. Now it's Delaney Rummel's turn. Rummel takes a strike down the middle. Rummel has hit .324 this year after transferring in from Illinois, Hacks that one into right. That's down. Scooped up by Cook. A very quick play back into the diamonds. And so that holds McKay at third base. Boy, that's a fine play by Cook to scoop that one.
Yeah, right now for Ole Miss, it's continuing to pass the bat.
At the plate for the Rebels, the second
It doesn't
baseman,
take a big
Angelina
swing. They don't have to
Brown.
do it the way that Mississippi State does it. You don't have to have the long ball. It doesn't have to be hard and high in the air. Chip away.
De Leon swings and finds the gap in right center. McKay scores. De Leon into second. Play at the plate. The ball gets away from the catcher. 2 runs come in.
And just like that, it's fundamental offense. This pitch is off the plate. It's not a bad pitch out of the hand of Fa'apito. But the ability to hit bad pitches well, pitches that aren't over the white of the plate, and this is right field gap, couple RBIs, and the deficit is starting to shrink. Ole Miss clawing their way back.
A 2-run double for De Leon, and again, the throwing error allows her to move over to third.
A mature arm, a very confident athlete, and I think that that is the reason she gets the bid in a situation like this.
It's the first time she's faced Ole Miss in the circle this series. So Samantha Ricketts has a fresh arm ready to go. Faces Ryan Starr to get things started here. And rather it's a pinch hitter, pardon me, so Annie Orman steps in with De Leon at third and just 1 gone in this 3rd inning. A 1-0 is fouled away. So Sosa, in just 23 innings, she's off to one of the finer starts of any SEC pitcher this year. The 13 strikeouts compared to just the 2 walks. And so I think there's going to be a strike applied here against Ryan Starr. She was not alert and ready to the pitcher. You see that clock behind the plate. It's been integrated into the game this year. Doesn't matter, though. The 1-2, she hammers over the left field wall. She was ready on that one. 2-run blast to tie it up.
It only takes 1 pitch, and that one was hers. A pinch hit bomb to tie the game. You live for these moments as an athlete. You live for these moments as a coach. How genius does Jamie Traxa look right now? Pulls Orman off the bench, gives her an at-bat, and gets the job done. It's a 6-6 ball game off the pinch hit bomb.
Orman's first home run of the season and just her 23rd at-bat, so we'll go to the top of the order now. We are all square, 6 apiece in the series finale. This is Jaden Pone, pardon me, who now hits with the bases empty. So the Rebels bats have ignited in the 3rd inning. 4 hits, and 3 of them extra base hits. Pone singled in the 2nd, struck out looking to begin the 1st, and slaps that one foul. Ole Miss with an answer for just about everything today. And this is on the heels of Mississippi State scoring 2 in the top half of this inning. 2-1 is bounced. Back to the circle. The first baseman comes over. Safe. So Kennedy tried to get it to Hawkins in time, and Pone beats out the shuffle.
Couldn't have placed this better if you're Pone. This is a swinging bunt. Having to cut across the field is Hawkins from second base, and not in time. It's looking like we might get a review here.
And we will have another. Aaron, on first look, I thought she was safe. This replay, though, going to open up quite a bit. Did she get to the bag in
Wow.
time? Hawkins.
Here's a great angle. Glove, foot.
I think
It's going to
Poland.
be a tough call.
Watch that left foot from Poland, stomps down.
It's almost simultaneous, truly. We always used to refer to this as bang plays. It's closer than bang bang. It's just bang.
Yes.
One bang,
It's just all, yeah.
all at the same time.
So Pone is safe at first. Well, Jaden Pone made the ruling before everybody, before first base umpire and before we went to the challenge. So Pone has a pair of hits today. And they pass the bat to Jayla Lassiter. Brand new ball game in the third inning. It's a 4-run third for the Rebels, and still only one hitter's been retired. So you've got the heart of the order coming up now. That's on the inside edge for a strike. Lassiter singled twice earlier, scored a run in the first. Her hit in the second was a hard hit ball. And that's tapped foul. So Sosa is trying to find her footing after coming out of the bullpen to replace Fa'apito. There's a 1-2. Swing and a foul right into the mesh behind the plate.
This is still a big game for both of these squads. Even though Mississippi State took the first two of this series, to be able to go to Ole Miss and sweep a team on their turf sends a message. And the same goes the other way. A ranked opponent, 23 right now in the polls, is Mississippi State. And for Ole Miss, they need a ranked win. They need a big win on their schedule. And it's in reach right now. A tie ball game here early in this game 3.
Lassiter, half swing, roller to Edwards, has to crank one to first in time for the second out. So Lassiter retired. Pone moves up to second, and the three-hitter Paige Smith steps into the box, trying to maybe bring home one more run that would untie this thing in the third. Smith walked and scored in the first inning. Has driven in 15 runs, and you've got Pone taking that big lead off of second. You know, Aaron, you bring up a great point, because in a lot of ways, this was the story of Ole Miss's year last year. They make the NCAA tournament with, you know, a below 500 SEC record, but they were able to get 1 out of 3 often enough against really good teams, and you know that will go a long way. There are just endless opportunities to pick up the ranked wins, and you certainly would love 2 out of 3 every weekend, but 1 against a ranked team goes a long way as well. Outside corner for a strike.
A double-edged sword when you've got 12 teams in the SEC that are in the top 25, a win is a win is a win is a win, and especially if it's a ranked win. What that does for your RPI, what that does for you later in the year, and that's exactly the story for Ole Miss.
Smith pops this one up, foul. That's beyond the Mississippi State dugout. Ole Miss found itself in the regional final a year ago against Utah out in Salt Lake City. Battled hard, ultimately came up short. But again, more about this program just remains a tournament fixture. 2-2. Swing and a high fly. This is over the middle of the diamond. Edwards. And if you noticed one thing, Aaron, a number next to all 8 of those teams. Welcome to SEC play, where essentially everybody is ranked. We start the 4th inning with Briley St. Clair on the left side of the plate facing Caitlin Riley. So this is Riley's second full inning of work. She came out of the bullpen to replace Clee Thermos in the second. Allowed one inherited runner to score in that inning, then gave up a 2-run homer to Kennedy in the third, but then she retired the side or 3 in a row to get out of that 3rd inning. And that foul tip, it caught Lexi Brady. Looked like it caught her just right above one of those shin guards. And she's trying to walk it off here.
This was a bunt attempt that just clips the inner thigh. Oh. You know that's got to sting.
Yep. So Brady, the junior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Is ready to go. 2-1 is bounced over to first. Smith is there. 1 gone. So Riley is looking for a clean inning. Mississippi State has scored runs in all 3 frames. Got 3 in the first, then 1 in the second, 2 more in the prior inning. This is Sierra Sacco. The leadoff hitter takes a strike. Sacco has drawn a pair of walks today. So she spent the first 2 years of her college career at Louisiana Tech. And Samantha Ricketts has said she has come in and just been an energy giver and has added to that formula of expectation raisers, if you will. She's been a great leadoff hitter. Waves and misses at the 1-1.
Yeah, Sacco's one of those athletes, too, that Coach Ricketts said kind of helps coach this team almost. She's not afraid to chirp at her defense, not afraid to call somebody out. She protects the standard, understands how this team is supposed to work, what it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to feel like, and isn't scared to speak up when it isn't that.
1-2 is bounced over to De Leon, and so there's 2 gone. That'll bring up Nadia Barbary. You know, and it's so important to not just be an encouraging teammate. Of course, that's critical, but, you know, not being afraid, as you pointed out there, to perhaps hold some of your teammates accountable when necessary. That goes a long way. You know, part of the true identity of a leader. Barbary has been on the base paths twice, but she reached on a fielder's choice both times. Back in the second, she brought in a run. Also scored one in the first.
She's had a good weekend. 3 hits on The weekend here in Oxford was a 2-for-4 day yesterday. Scored a run for Mississippi State. Has looked strong in the 2-hole. She's one of those hitters that's very smooth in the box. Kind of swaggy, really laid back energy. No panic.
Bounces the 2-1 to the left side of the diamond, and so Starr with a 6. So we've got the head coach of these Bulldogs is Samantha Ricketts. Coach, we appreciate you taking a moment here. Madison Kennedy has gone yard twice. You mentioned the former shortstop moved over to first base this year. Maybe some good karma today, if you will. How was her approach at the plate been, and how has she developed as a leader this year?
Yeah, Maddie's really locked in for us right now, and I think she's just had such a mature approach in the box. She's a fifth-year senior. She knows how to adjust and game plans and pitcher to pitcher that she's seen so far. So she's been a great leader along with the rest of the senior class for us, and it's been fun to see them kind of come together and bring the younger ones along with them.
Coach, we've seen a couple arms down the circle for you, and it's been a rather tight zone on both sides of this game. How have they evolved, and how do they face something like that in the circle?
Yeah, it's something they have to deal with. Every umpire is going to be different, and it doesn't change. You have to attack and stay within and find ways to get ahead and make your ball move through the zone. And I think Mata really settled in after that first inning, and then same thing with Lexi. Find the zone and then go ahead and attack and finding ways to get runners out early and give us a chance to get back in the dugout.
Coach, thanks for doing this. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Hail State.
And so Aaron, halfway through, 6 up. And a very important finale. The cleanup hitter, Lexi Brady, faces Lexi Sosa in the home fourth.
I appreciate the consistent answer on both sides, which is, it is what it is. Get it done anyway, right?
Yep.
It's like you can't control how this zone is going to be called. The only thing you can control is what you do with the ball out of your hand.
Oh, it's a great lesson of, we hear that word adversity, if you will, tossed around quite a bit. Brady slashes that one foul. And so when that hits, in this case, maybe a different zone to adjust to. Are you as a player quick to make the adjustment to be successful at the plate or in the circle? Sosa last threw an inning last weekend against Samford. It was a clean inning of work a week ago today. She also threw 4 innings against Alcorn State the day prior. Struck out 5, allowed just 1 run. Check swing. And yeah, so that one, it looked like it caught enough for the plate. In this case, it does not.
Yeah.
And so Brady works the walk.
I was going to ask for a replay for the pitch, and then the check swing comes as well. First of all, I don't know where this ball misses.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where this ball is not being called. It's in the strike zone as far as height goes. It appears to clip at least a portion of the white of that strike zone. And in question was the check swing as well.
And so everything went Brady's way in that sequence, so it's a leadoff walk in the home fourth. And now Jamie McKay, who doubled her last time up, is on the right side of the box. Ole Miss has never led, not just today, but in this series overall. It only scored 1 run in the first 2 games and has ignited for the 6th today. So with a leadoff runner on, it certainly has a chance to perhaps take that first lead of the series. There comes a 1-1 from Sosa. It's a towering pop-up right side. Maybe enough room for Kennedy. Fumbles it, and it hits the ground. She got her mid on it. Tried to make the two-hand catch. But in vain that time.
We saw an uncharacteristic error already from Mississippi State. Kylie Edwards at shortstop. This one won't be clocked as such, but it should be in my book because that's a play that should be made. Ball game is too tight not to take what they give you.
1-2, that's hammered, foul down the line. And so it gives another life to McKay. The sophomore from Laguna Beach, awaiting a 1-2. That one's a bit tight, so the count evens.
A two-strike count. A two-strike count, and this is not even getting the bite. That's a pitch that you cannot afford to take. Too close, too close. Makes my heart spike.
2-2 coming. Slow tapper. Sosa pounces on it and to first in time. So it does move Brady into scoring position. And Ansley Furbush is coming up next.
Kennedy at first base taking an exhale that dropped foul ball didn't come back to burn her.
The bar was set quite high after the first two games of the series. Marin tossed the complete game. She gave up just the 1 run and 3 hits. And then Aspen Wesley followed with her first career no-hitter. And a 4-0 win yesterday. It was only the third no-hitter against an SEC team in program history, or better said in conference play. 1-0 misses inside to Furbush.
You're going to see that location quite a bit from Sosa, excuse me. She hammers right under the hands. Challenges the inside part of the zone, specifically against righties. She'll live on that side of the plate. You see her go right back there.
Comes inside again, and the inside-out swing. Here comes the runner around third. Throw to the plate is late. Furbush takes second base, and the Rebels have their first lead of the series.
It is inside out. You want to almost see her turn and burn on this pitch. That's where you're going to get the most power, but it catches the Mississippi State defense on their heels. That 3-4 hole open between first and second base, and it's enough to Cook in right field to snag an RBI.
Now, this has got to be quite a rejuvenating feeling here if you're Ole Miss a day after getting no hit. They take a lead in the bottom of the fourth inning. And so Malvin will pinch run for Furbush. Delaney Rummel trying to keep the rally going. That's one is looped foul off to the right. So Sosa has only faced 7 hitters. She's allowed 3 hits and she's walked a batter as well. So it's coming on in relief an inning ago for Pito. And the 0-1 is drilled into the right center gap. Cook ranges over, makes the play. The runner tags and moves to third. So with 2 gone, Angelina De Leon still has a chance to extend Ole Miss's lead.
For the Rebels, the second baseman, Angelina De Leon.
De Leon doubled in a pair of runs an inning ago. And she takes that first pitch high. Now, that was against Pito. So this is her first time facing Sosa.
Only hitting .208 with runners in scoring position for De Leon.
Malvin at third.
A 156 year so far for De Leon.
A junior from Valley Springs, California, now has a favorable count. She's ascended back into the starting lineup. She started 38 games her rookie year. Logged just 11 at-bats last season. And so she's this year's starting second baseman. Takes a strike on the outer edge. You can hear Jamie Traxel saying, hey, let's bring home another run and build upon this lead. 3-1 is hit into play over to the left side. Barbary, though, on to first to close out the frame.
It's about it here. This is
Hey-o.
It's been a good game.
Well played, partner. We got 13 runs in 4 innings today, and we only had 10 runs combined scored by both teams in the first two games of the series overall. Paige Cook, the number 3 hitter in Mississippi State's order, flies out to right to start the 5th. So 1 down for Riley. All of a sudden, Aaron, Caitlin Riley has retired 6 in a row, going back to the 3rd inning after she allowed the 2-run blast to Kennedy.
Once you feel your offense start to back you up just a little bit, you can have a little more breathing room in the circle. I think that's what we've seen from Riley as she settled in.
But now she faces Jessie Blaine, bounces that one past Starr at short. And so that snaps the streak of, let me correct myself, 7 in a row retired. And here comes Madison Kennedy. 2 powerful swings. Aaron, she's gone yard twice. First to left, and then why not drop one into the fan section and straightaway center?
I've said it once, and I'll say it again. It's like she's seeing a beach ball at home plate. Just can't miss it. Barrel's got a magnet to the ball in zone. Just feels like she's in flow right now.
Eye-popping numbers to start the year, hitting above 400. And remember, she went yard yesterday on a full count in the 4-0 victory. So Kennedy 1 for 3 in the middle game, and she also drove in a run in the opener. Swings at the 1-0 and bounces it down the line. Would be extra bases. The pinch runner swinging around second and slides into third.
The aggressiveness of Mississippi State, they just don't take their foot off the gas. They're urgent, they swing early, they swing often, and when they take a cut, it's very decisive. Down a run, and they're still hacking away.
So Jaden Burney, the pinch runner, heads back to third. Kennedy at second with her 3rd extra base hit today. Edwards has put it into play twice. She's grounded out twice. Takes that first pitch a little above the letters. And so advantage batter. Wow, what a series for Kennedy. That's Riley Hull who comes in to pinch run for her. Swing and a foul off to the right. Kennedy with, when you add them all up now, 7 RBIs in this series. And 4 extra base hits. Edwards swings, loops it into right. McKay makes the grab. The runner tags, a throw just a little wide. And Mississippi State ties things up. Edwards knocks in Bernie, 7-all.
Can't tell you how much of a high IQ at bat this is for the freshman Kylie Edwards. One, she has to know that she's got to get it to the green to get the tag and go RBI. But on top of that, where she places this sac fly is important as well. Away from the runner, she hits it into right field. She sees the ball deep. That is just a nice piece of hitting from the freshman.
And so now with one more runner sitting in close range over at third base, Samantha Ricketts going to the veteran, Aquana Brownlee, who's got a fine batting average this year. It's been tough to get her at bats this season. Takes the first pitch high and away. Again, Hull is the runner over at third. That represents the go-ahead run now in the top half of the 5th. Brownlee, 5th-year senior from Houston, Mississippi. Swings and misses. Riley deals. That's a little low in the dirt.
Yeah, I think the numbers really tell the story for Brownlee. Just opportunities with runners in scoring position when she's been pulled off the bench. It's a .474 average. She's clutch.
She bounces this one over to second. Another tough play for De Leon, and she makes it to retire the side. Now takes over in the circle. A 1.49 ERA. She pitched a few very effective innings in the opener Friday. And she faces 9-1-2 in the order to get things started here in the 5th. First pitch strike to Ryan Starr.
I'll give you the quote from Sam Ricketts, which is all you'll need to know. This is the nastiest drop ball you'll ever see. That is Josie Marin.
7 innings on Friday. Allowed just 1 run. That bunt is foul. She struck out 3. She was very efficient, did walk 4, but she kept the bats at bay in the 5-1 win on Friday to open up the series. So an 0-2 coming to Starr. And there it is. That one's low and away. By the way, Riley Hull takes over at first for Madison Kennedy. 1-2 slashed foul.
This is going to require an adjustment from Ole Miss. A drop ball arm, you got to have such a pinpoint game plan to be successful off of the late break, low at the knees. You can't roll over. You can't be early. You've got to be patient. I think Ole Miss has done a good job at adjusting quickly.
There's a lazy little pop-up over to Edwards, 1 away. So nicely done there.
That's the first changeup we've seen from Marin, planting the seed of doubt for timing.
Well, this has been the best day of the series by far for these Ole Miss bats. Jaden Pone takes that one away for ball 1. Pone has a pair of hits. in her second straight game hitting leadoff. Her average back above 400 now. We're still very early in the year, but she's turned in one of the finer starts of any hitter in the SEC. And slashes that one foul, so the count evens.
This has got to be, I think, a positive takeaway for Jamie Traxel. Coming into this weekend, you see the numbers. An offensive firepower, they really were showing well, and then silence the first 2 outings against Mississippi State. Only 3 hits between 2 games. And now already registered 9 hits in the final matchup.
It's got to be something about those Sunday powder blues as well. Always a crisp look when they roll with those uniforms on Sundays, typically. Two is hammered foul, so we'll do this one more time. As you know, we have officially entered the marathon, and it does not get. there's never a break, if you will. Ole Miss actually welcomes or heads, I should say, to Baton Rouge to face the unbeaten LSU Tigers team next week. Then it's Georgia, South Carolina, on and on you go. So this finale, important for so many reasons, but also due to the fact that here we are in the late stages of the game, knotted up.
Now this is the off speed from Josie Marin, way out in front. Gonna have to protect it with 2 strikes. They're already biting on it early in counts. That was the first pitch of the at-bat.
Yep. By the way, and Pone called out for making contact while out of the box on that prior sequence, and so
for Ole Miss.
So officially, it's a strikeout swinging because there was 2 strikes on her, and then Jayla Lassiter lined out to center just a few moments later. So an unfortuitous way for the bottom of the 5th to come to a close for Ole Miss. Caitlin Riley back in the circle. There's a swing, and that one is looped off the bat of Salyn Hawkins and into the outfield for a base hit. So Hawkins, this freshman, just continues to rake her first hit of the day.
You know, Coach Sam Ricketts talked about a little bit of the unconventional approach in the swing of Salyn Hawkins, the late recruit. You could see it there on the cut. She said it's not something you're used to seeing, but it works. The swing works.
First pitch strike to Briley St. Clair. Salyn Hawkins, again, the freshman from Arizona, she goes from unsigned in July to hitting a team best 375 coming into this one. Throw down to first is behind the runner. So what a valuable bat to have at the bottom of your order as you enter SEC play. Hawkins with 6 multi-hit games this year, and coming against teams like Utah and Louisiana as well. St. Clair goes down on strikes, and so, Aaron, that's notable because we're 3 times through the order for Mississippi State, and that is the first Ole Miss strikeout for a pitcher today.
Well, that tells 2 stories, really. It tells me that Mississippi State is extremely patient, and it also tells me that this zone has not bode well for Ole Miss's arms. They have not gotten a lot of calls. And you and I both know, Kevin, there's been a few of those, especially with 2 strikes, that, again, my heart rate has spiked a few times, that the swings weren't there.
There's been some puzzling moments for sure. But regardless, we remain deadlocked in a 7-7 tie. Quick bouncer to third, Ramel to second for one. It's tough to make that turn with the speedy Sacco running down the line, so she reaches 2 out. Still a base runner for Mississippi State. Remember, these Bulldogs led 6-2 going into the bottom of the third. And so Ole Miss has outscored them 5-1 since. In a very entertaining finale during opening weekend of conference play. Nadia Barbary's turn. Swings and hacks this one out to center. There it goes. Bounces up against the fence. Here comes the runner. Hawkins around third. She scores. And Mississippi State takes a 1-run lead in the late innings. Barbary gets it done.
Yeah, Barbary looked great yesterday as well. I mentioned just the consistency all weekend from this righty. She's methodical in the box. She's got some swagger. Her presence is unwavering. There is no panic. Even with 2 outs, she knows that as long as there is a strike left for her to work with, there's room for her to snag an RBI, and she does it.
Pardon me, that was Sacco who scored the run. So it's an 8-7 lead for the Bulldogs. And we'll have a pinch runner over at second base for Barbary.
Hold on right fielder, Paige Cook.
Paige Cook, 1 for 3 today. Flew out to right her last time up. Bounces it to the right side. That's past a diving De Leon. Here comes a runner around third. Throw to the plate is late. It's now 9-7 in the 6th.
Just enough to get it done. This off the end of the bat. A strong lower body turns through this, punches it right past second base. De Leon unable to glove it. And again, the IQ of knowing where the ball needs to be hit to get the RBI. Go opposite field, get yourself another insurance run. On the left side as well, so a different release point for Mississippi State to adjust through. Works east to west. She's face value. I appreciated talking to Traxel about this arm, that she's really down to earth. You get what you get with Lopez. A straight shooter and an off-speed first pitch right out of the chute.
And so it fools Jessie Blaine, who's 2 for 3 today. Couple of singles, plus she scored a run as well back in the third. A .375 hitter with a runner at first. She hacks that one off to the right. Kiara Sells is the pinch runner for Cook. The Bulldogs have scored 5 of their 9 runs with 2 outs. So even in the tensest moments, they have been productive. That one gets by the catcher, so that'll be consequential here. A base hit could potentially score another run now. Critical moments as we push into the late stages of this game. A sweep on the line today for the Bulldogs. Blaine gets underneath it. Into right, a dive, and McKay hangs on for the final out. Mississippi State pulls back. Can you keep up? Can you respond? As these teams have traded blows. Heart of the order due up for the Rebels. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Paige Smith, Lexi Brady, Jamie McKay due up to face Josie Marin, who threw that complete game on Friday and allowed just the 3 hits and the 1 run. The sophomore starts the wind. The 1-0 is there. Good off speed for a strike.
You love the offensive response. You see it in the numbers. You get no hit yesterday. You've already recorded 9 hits and 7 runs in day 3, but you still got to finish.
1-1 is ripped, a one-hopper to short. Edwards gets to her feet, throws across the diamond. It was going to be a tough play to get Smith, and so there's a leadoff base runner for Ole Miss. Lexi Brady due up, the tying run at the plate.
Still early on this pitch. This is an off-speed low. Marin's pitch in general, the drop ball at the knees, is a little bit slower than what Ole Miss is facing all weekend long. A good attempt by Edwards, trying to recover this play. But a base hit to start off the 6th.
Brady takes that one on the corner for a strike. That is the 15th Ole Miss base runner today. So it has put the ball into play. It has worked counts. It's drawn walks. Brady did that her last time up. Walked and scored in the 4th. And so Marin will be careful here, facing the cleanup hitter, who did strike out twice against Apito, the starter. There's a 1-1. And on the hands, a called second strike.
I think it was so good it shocked her. That's the pitch you want to swing at, a 1-1 count. It's a hitter's count. You're looking for anything you can handle. And now you dug yourself into a hole, and you've got a pitcher that can make the ball move.
Here it comes. And that got her on the elbow there. So it hits the Evo shield. You've got 2 runners on to start the 6th.
You got to appreciate Brady just standing her ground. She's in her box. It's her territory. She does not have to move out of the way of this as long as she can stay still and the elbow isn't hanging out over home plate. That's a clean hit by pitch. Take your base.
Here's McKay. She bunts it. It rolls just into fair ground, so that moves the runners up for Ansley Furbush, who has knocked in a pair of runs today. There's the tying run, and Brady in scoring position now at second. So this is textbook stuff here. Ole Miss is trying to take a lead, and a timely one in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Again, Furbush leading the offense with runners in scoring position. She comes in today a .533 hitter with runners ready to score.
Well, that is exceptional. .388 hitter this year. She singled her last time up. Swinging at the first pitch, off of Marin's mitt. Can somebody get to it in time? Throw is late. 1 run scores, and it's a 1-run game again. Smith comes home. Furbush puts it into play, and something good happens.
The importance of getting this ball in the glove of Marin. You can see she tries to glove it down. Hawkins already moving towards first base. You so badly want that play. If Marin can hold her position and snag that out, this inning looks completely different. Ole Miss still chipping away. And that's the type of pitcher Marin is. She's a ground ball pitcher. She's a drop ball pitcher. You're going to see the ball on the ground. Mississippi State defense has to anticipate this. It's the type of arm that she is.
There's a 1-0 to Delaney Rummel. Lifts it out to right. Deep enough perhaps for Cook. She makes the catch. And the tying run scores. It's 9 apiece in the bottom of the 6th inning. You know, boy, we just went from a 2-run Mississippi State lead to a tie game very quickly here in the 6th. Ole Miss attacking these pitches early in the count.
Back and forth and back and forth.
At the plate for the Rebels, the second baseman.
I mean, truly, it's a mirror image of each other. Both of these teams have answered when they've had the call. Ole Miss has done it very fundamentally at the plate. They chip away, they hit all sides of the field.
De Leon bounces it to third. Barbary up with it, and the inning is over. Time today, just about. But here's the dangerous one, Madison Kennedy, who is 3 for 3 today with 3 extra base hits, including a pair of 2-run, or I should say a couple of home runs. The one in the first inning was a 3-run blast, and the following one a 2-run homer in the third. Brianna Lopez still in the circle. And the 1-0 is in the dust, so the count's 2-0.
We saw a wild pitch from Lopez coming in last inning. Gave up a double. I mean, Lopez is going to have to be sharp here.
Brady giving her pitcher a moment as the Mississippi State dugout comes alive here. 2-0 hitters count. That one's taken on the outside edge. Mississippi State outscored the Rebels 9-1 in the first 2 games. Different story today. The Bulldogs with the 4-1 win yesterday, a no-hit victory for Mississippi State. Sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
It just requires patience against Lopez. Not a lot of speed out of this lefty. Much different look than what they've seen all game.
And so a leadoff walk to Kennedy gets things started for the visitors in the 7th.
Bulldog shortstop Kylie Edwards.
Kylie Edwards, this her 4th plate appearance today. Grounded out twice. Bunts this one up the line and foul. She plated a run with the sacrifice fly in the top half of the 5th inning. That tied things up at 7 at the time. Now it's 9-all. Swing and a foul. That one's in the air, off to the right. Lopez is 0-2. And that one loops up in the zone. A ball and 2 strikes.
You see 47 miles an hour. You've seen 58 miles an hour, low 60s. Really 3 different speeds out of the hand of Lopez.
Count evens. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's been the location in question all day.
Yeah, rarely has that pitch at the top of the zone gotten the call. That's foul down the line.
It's interesting that that pitch isn't getting swung at more. A team that elevates the ball the way that Mississippi State does, that's a pitch you want. That's a pitch I loved as a hitter. Whether it's called a strike or not, that's a pitch you can take yard.
And so the tension just continues to grow with a tie score. We've got a full count now on Edwards. With the go-ahead run, Kennedy over at first. Payoff. Swing, there's a bouncer up the middle. Could be 2. Starr takes it to the bag herself on to first in time. The 6-3 double play.
Momentum killer here. Ole Miss's defense coming in clutch. Starr takes it herself, rolls it up, and shuts something that was seriously brewing for Mississippi State. A leadoff walk, and helps her pitcher out.
The first double play of the day at the most timely moment. And now the catcher, Ella Wesolowski, steps back into the box, but with nobody on. And these Rebels are trying to set themselves up for a chance in the home 7th to maybe walk it off. If Lopez gets out of this, it would be 9-1-2 due up for the Rebels in the bottom of the 7th. Here's a 2-0. There's a lazy pop-up down the line, and it falls in. Base hit for Wesolowski. That's such a difficult one for all three fielders, and it dunks down for a hit.
This is a mixture of a sun ball here. You can see the sun, the shadows on the field. This is also all communication. This is a ball that needs to be caught. It gets you out of an inning. You want to get back in the dugout, a chance to walk this game off. Find a way to make that catch.
So now Salem Hawkins comes up. One for two today. The rookie also walked and scored in the second. Bounces it through the left side. That's a base hit. And so the inning continues for Mississippi State. Hawkins with another 2-hit day. Her 7th of the year.
What an impact she's been on this team. A late addition, the latest addition to this squad. You mentioned it, Kevin, joining in July, and what she's done since becoming a dog. My goodness.
And Aaron, we've talked at length here about what Mississippi State has done with 2 outs. They've scored 5 of their 9 with 2 outs. And Selena Daniel is about to step in, pinch hitting for Briley St. Clair. This is just the 5th at-bat of the year for Daniel. The go-ahead run is Wesolowski at second base. So this also starts to underscore the importance of that double play turned by Starr at short. If she's not able to turn it, or the bases perhaps loaded right now, here's the 0-1. Check swing, that's popped up. Brady can't get to it, but now 2 strikes on the batter.
Well, this is the challenge of being a pinch hitter, facing an arm that really pulls the string. 3 different speeds we've seen from Lopez. To trust your timing, now an 0-2 count, you got to trust it more than ever.
In those 4 at-bats, a pair of hits and a pair of RBIs for Daniel. 0-2, just swerves around the outer edge.
This pitch has just been giving these teams fits. This is a beautiful location. You hope for the chase. It's a late breaking curveball. It doesn't get the call.
That's up in the zone, and so the count evens. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Can Daniel bring home the go-ahead run? It's Wesolowski at second base. Here's a 2-2. That's in the dirt, scooped, and the count goes full. Here comes a payoff to Daniel. That's upstairs, ball 4. And Sierra Sacco expected up next, the leadoff hitter for the Bulldogs.
And you go back to that fly ball into right field. If that catch is made, you're out of.
So we had a timeout, and Lopez remains in the circle to face Sierra Sacco in a consequential moment of great importance right now, Aaron, because the go-ahead run is at third. Mississippi State has loaded the bases, doing so with 2 outs, trying to untie this in the final inning of regulation. Sacco without a hit today. Takes the 0-1 on the outside edge for a strike. The Bulldogs have taken the first 2 in the series. They're trying to complete the sweep today, and can they score a dramatic late game run? Here's an 0-2. It's off the outer edge. Lopez allowed back-to-back hits to Wesolowski and Hawkins, and then she walked Daniel. St. Clair, the pinch runner now, over at first. Here's a 1-2 to Sacco. Swings, loops it into center. It's caught. Lassiter's there. At the top of the 7th. In the bottom of the 7th, facing Josie Marin. It's Ryan Starr on the left side of the plate. First pitch is in the dust, and it counts 1-0.
Cannot stress the importance enough of the role of Ryan Starr right here. In a 9-hole, leading off the inning, to turn over this lineup, work your way on base, set the table. You need 1 run.
Good eye, and so she's got a favorable 2-ball, no-strike count. And at the top of the Ole Miss order is Pone and Lassiter. That duo has been very dangerous today. They've each have a pair of hits. You've got Smith, Brady, McKay. They have been effective at times. Here's a 2-0. Right down the middle for a strike. We have seen quite a bit of resilience here from Ole Miss. It has been down more than it has led today. In fact, it's only led for a half inning. Marin fires and finds the zone. That cuts in for a strike. Marin threw the complete game 3-hitter on Friday. Allowed just 1 run in a tone-setting 5-1 win for the Bulldogs. Here's a 2-2. That's a great eye.
Orman pinch hit for Starr back in the 3rd. That was the towering home run.
We have had a surplus of big hits today. A payoff is fouled away. Remember, we'll get you to Alabama and Florida at the conclusion of this one. That is coming up next year right on the network. Brilliant day of softball as we have officially reached conference play. Marin deals. That one's chopped foul. And you touched on it before, Aaron. So Mississippi State, of course, it wants a statement sweep, but if you're Ole Miss, you always want to take 2 out of 3, but a win against a ranked team today, that goes a long way when we reach May. We've seen a great response by this home team today. Another payoff. That's low, and there you go. Leadoff base runner for Ole Miss to start the 7th.
It's one of the cardinal sins in our game. You'd never want to walk that leadoff batter. And when you think about the situation that Mississippi State and Ole Miss are in right now, the punches that have been thrown back and forth, give yourself and your team a chance to make a play. A walk does not give yourself that opportunity.
Pone 2 for 4 today. Squares, gets it down. Quick throw to first, and Barbary retires her. But the winning run is now in scoring position. Jayla Lassiter is coming up.
You think about who's coming up here, the production that's happened in the middle of this order. A 2 for 2 day for Lassiter, a 1 for 3 day, and a walk for Smith.
Lassiter from Atmore, Alabama, with already a very astonishing batting average to start the year. Sophomore, waiting the first pitch. Swings, bounces it over to third. The runner's got to stay put, and Lassiter's out. This time Starr takes third. So she is able to wiggle her way to third after the throw to first base. And now this opens up a whole lot of possibilities being at third base.
This is aggressive base running. It's reading the throw. It's understanding the importance of the extra 60 feet. And now all it takes is a base hit from Paige Smith.
So there goes Tom Meyer, our home plate umpire. Are they potentially reviewing, the safe call at third? Does she come off the base after the slide?
And again, the call in the field is safe. There's got to be enough evidence here with replay footage to overturn this call. I don't know that there will be enough to overturn it. To me, it looks like the hand gets in there before the tag, especially because the tag looks like it's on the cleats.
Yeah, I don't see anything definitive there either. Tag now, but yeah, she's well safe in this instance.
This is a big moment here for Ole Miss. We've talked about the run production with 2 outs on the Mississippi State side, and now a golden opportunity with 2 outs for Ole Miss. Chance to walk it off.
Our officials, they're making sure they're taking an adequate look at this. But this one certainly looks like Paige Smith, the number 3 hitter, is going to have a chance to bring home the game-winning run in Starr over at third. There you go. So the runner is safe, and it sets up a chance for Ole Miss to win it right here with 2 gone in the bottom of the 7th.
At the plate for the Rebels, the first baseman, Paige Smith.
So Ole Miss, they started 0 of 6 with runners in scoring position. Since, they're 5 of 9. And are the hits going to keep rolling? First one to Smith, does catch the inside corner for a strike. Helps to have the ultimate veteran at the plate. Smith, a starter in that canceled 2020 season, a 5-year starter at the plate. The 0-1. Bounced left side. It's going to be a tough play for Edwards. The throw is there. And we're going to extras. Final play to close out the home 7th. Kylie Edwards, the freshman over at short, telling her team, don't worry, I got you here.
Hey, she outright earned that shortstop position this year as a freshman, beat out Kennedy, who now is playing first base. And you see why. The athleticism, the clutch factor, the fact that she bought her team another inning to potentially walk away with a W here.
Oh, you called her a pure athlete. Someone who comes in with a lot of hype and maybe overlooked. Ricketts thought, here's an Indiana player from the state of Indiana. Maybe you're from up north. Do you not get as much looks as you would normally? And she has come in here maybe with a chip on her shoulder and has proved that she belongs. And so we start the 8th inning with the heart of the order coming up for the Bulldogs, facing Brianna Lopez, who is starting her 2nd full inning of work. And this is the first time that Lopez, the lefty, has faced Barbary. She doubled her last time up, scored a run, takes that off speed on the outside corner for a strike.
Back to the importance of that leadoff. Lopez walked the leadoff in the 7th. Marin walked the leadoff in the 7th.
There's a 1-0. That one is rolled off the end of the bat over to De Leon, one away. Brings up Paige Cook, the number 3 hitter.
Just
a
to reiterate,
critical series finale. Go ahead, Aaron.
You were taking the words right out of my mouth. To reiterate the importance of this Game 3. For Mississippi State to sweep a team on their home turf is a big deal, especially in the SEC. And vice versa, Ole Miss needing a ranked win here. That's the power of the RPI, the power of the intensity of the schedule in this conference. A win is a win is a win when you're in the SEC play.
The 0-1 misses high to Cook. Yeah, in a league where Ole Miss is the only SEC team that's outside the top 25, which is astounding to think about. Mississippi State, you see, has gotten off to this thriving start, 19-3, wins against Clemson, Utah, a couple of ranked teams, as well as Louisiana. They beat twice last month. So they roll here into Oxford with all the momentum in the world. They win the first 2 with some overwhelming pitching, including a no-hitter yesterday. And yet the finale deadlocked in a 9-9 tie. The 2-1, boy, Lopez, she does a good job of changing speeds and gets Cook a little off balance there. The count evens. Cook with a pair of hits today, including an RBI in the 6th. 2-2 is pounded foul. Now, when Cook was last in the box, her RBI single put the Bulldogs up 9-7. And the Rebels responded with 2 runs immediately in the home 6th. Lopez fires, and the count goes full.
You can see she's thinking about giving chase on that pitch. The lower body stays back. This is why Lopez is so deceptive. She forces you to be patient, forces you to keep the lower body in commitment.
Payoff is whacked into left. That's a base hit. So a 1-out base runner for Mississippi State. And Cook, the potential go-ahead run at first now. It's a 3-hit day for Paige Cook.
What an evening for Cook. This is a leader for this team. Coach Ricketts went on and on about the vocal power of this athlete, but she shows up in her play as well. Consistent in that 3-hole. A 3-for-5 day.
So, Aaron, she's the 20th Mississippi State base runner. And now you've got Jessie Blaine stepping in. This Bulldogs team has put the ball into play when it was not working the count. Matter of fact, they've only struck out a grand total of 1 time. Once, that's it, as a team. Here's the 0-1, and the cleanup hitter takes that in the dirt. So Lopez is going to have to be very intentional with how she approaches the next few hitters. Blaine with a pair of hits today. Kennedy on deck. She hasn't been retired yet. And she misses outside. I think Sam Ricketts, she knows she's got a team with a whole bunch of players with that collective chip on the shoulder. 2-1 is drilled in the air to left. It's playable, though, for Pone, and so 2 out.
Can't also stress enough the importance of repetition of this style of game. Forcing your arms to have to go the depth, to play extra innings, the punches back and forth. I can promise you this, these two teams will have this style of competition as we get deeper into conference play, as you look towards postseason. You got to be able to play under this type of pressure. You're getting reps early. Your opening weekend of conference play, you're getting it.
Madison Kennedy has been on a rampage today. 2 homers, 5 RBIs, plus a double as well. And she's got a favorable count here. Kennedy, the 5th-year senior from Montgomery, Alabama. She went yard yesterday, so 3 homers in Oxford. And Lopez going to be very careful with Kylie Edwards on deck. Ball 4. So now the go-ahead run moves into scoring position. Cook up to second. And Kylie Edwards is expected to hit next with 2 out. And Ole Miss is going to conference here on the mound. Two out, 2 runners on. Cook, the go-ahead run at second. This is Kylie Edwards, the freshman shortstop. Takes the first pitch low and away. Edwards notched her lone hit of the series yesterday. She's 0 for 3 today, but brought in a run with a sacrifice fly earlier. Swings and loops this off to the right, foul. One. Swing and a miss.
You could feel the intentionality between that cut. About spun herself into the ground. She swung so hard.
With 2 outs, here's the pitch. That's swung at, lined out to left, and Pone is there for the final out.
Of conference for both of these squads. Mentioned the need for Ole Miss getting a ranked win, a W in the win column. An opportunity for Mississippi State to sweep a team at home.
And so Josie Marin is back out in the circle, faces Lexi Brady, Jamie McKay, and Ansley Furbush. This has been a effective portion of the order for Ole Miss today, trying to walk it off in the finale. Swing, and there's a high drive. She knows it. Brady does it again. It's a walk-off homer to win it in the finale.
The final score is yours.